Welcome to Answers from the Universe and the Andronicus transmissions on Wolf Spirit Radio, Ever Beyond Radio, and Studio 9 Jam on YouTube. With your host, Jessica Ariel Morocco, featuring JP as the voice of Andronicus. Please visit www.readingsbyrael.com, that's A-R-A-E-L.
From the future, by way of the past. I bought my ticket for the 15th century. We started moving through a hole in history.
You're listening to Wolf Spirit Radio.
Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us at Answers from the Universe. We have some interesting things going on again today, and as usual, I just want to let everyone know. I want to say hello, JP. How are you?
Hi, Jess. Before we scoot into the one of the busiest, well, it's probably going to be a busy show, isn't it? It feels like it.
Yeah. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to finish your thought there.
Maybe the stream that you got a cut off, but I said it was going to be. It looks like it's going to be a busy show. So over to you without wasting any more time.
Yeah. Okay. So, we sent out. I sent out yesterday to get people to like the Andronicus Facebook page. And we had an amazing response. If you weren't included in my list, then please do so and, join us. And so we can keep people on top of what's going on with Andronicus and, all the information that's coming in. We have a lot of the pre-recorded YouTube messages that are on there. And, I don't know. It should be helpful to you, but I had so much fun when I saw what a very nice response. As I know of right now, there's at least 80 people that, have liked the page so far, and to some that's not a big deal, but considering we had about 10 before, I think it's a really big deal, and I'm glad that you're all a part of it now. So, and of course, like I said, I'm welcoming more. Having a little bit of technical difficulties today, so I'm not sure if all the documents got over to you, JP. And the only thing I can do is, maybe it is.
I've got 3 here, so
okay.
Just make sure that when I'm reading, you can check through your thing. And I got Rhodan, Meetis, and Andronicus. So there's one more. You say there's one more. You say.
There's one way. We had Jonas, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Right.
And let me see where that is.
I don't even have a voice for Jonas, do I?
No. And, we were going to have Chris on the show, but he wasn't able to join us today. And, sometimes that happens.
It is Christmas. There's a lot of people who are in transit, gone to see their parents. Oh, and by the way, now, it's right in the middle of winter, right? And fluttering around my studio this evening is a great big red admiral butterfly.
Oh, I don't know what those look like. It sounds beautiful.
It's a really a decent sized butterfly. A good sort of it's a larger British butterfly. With it looks a bit like the the Spitfires in World War II had the circle with the blue circle and the red dot, and it's got 4 of those on it, and a deep red thing. I've got a picture of it. Anyway, it's fluttering around the studio, and it's really strange because for many years I've had this particular butterfly live in my house in the winter. Like it's January, February, and suddenly there's one of these red admiral butterflies fluttering around my house. It's really strange. Like, where does it come from, and why do they stay with me? I don't know. But
Yeah.
they're beautiful. Let me see if I can find a picture of them.
Sounds really beautiful.
Oh, no, it's not a
So I
red
wanted
admiral.
to get into the chat room. I don't know if I'll be able to do that.
Do you know a red admiral is called a Vanessa Atalanta? There we go.
Oh,
But actually,
Vanessa.
it's not a red admiral, because it's not got the markings. I'm gonna have to. Oh God. Oh no. Oh, there's one. Right. Okay. Aglace EO. It says here. Okay. I'll find you a picture. And there we go. One of these. Very beautiful thing. And you know, it gives me a delight. You know how when a fly comes into a room, you know, and suddenly everybody goes, oh God, blue bottle, you know, or a moth, and they go around annoying people. But when a butterfly would come in the room, everybody goes, oh, don't they? Oh, butterfly, look at that. Isn't it magical, butterfly? Anyway.
I think it's because they're vibrant. They have a different energy too, don't they?
Yeah.
Different energy than a moth or, I don't know what it is.
Yeah. It's the frequency. They,
Yeah.
I think butterflies basically levitate and moths fly. It's like the same with bees and wasps, right? Bees, if you look at the size of the wings of the bee with the size of the body of the bumblebee, right? It's like, that's stupid. That'll never fly. And with all those hairs, yeah, it's covered in hairs. They're not very aerodynamic, right? But the bee still flies. And the wasp is a kind of aerodynamic creature, and it's got great big wings. And when the wasp flies, it's pushing air. But, when the bee flies, the bee levitates. And so it's like a blimp. It's like the engines of a blimp only have to be enough to just to push it along. It doesn't have to lift it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And, probably the same with butterflies, because butterflies are joyful. It's the joyful creatures. Joyful creatures levitate.
They are. They're very, very beautiful. And I also like dragonflies as well.
Oh yes.
They're cool.
So anyway, that's
yeah.
my visitor today. To the studio.
Well, with the weather, the way it looks and everything out here right now, it's so dreary looking. And it's not typical to be that way, but it is. And, but yet, I feel like the energy is quite different. So, but we'll see what happens. We do have some very, very interesting messages today.
Really?
And, I think let's start with, Andronicus.
Right, okay, let's just, right, let me just put where shall I put the chat room? I'll put you up there.
Yeah, and I apologize, I'm not in the chat room right now. And I'd like to be in there, but.
Okay, well, if anybody, needs to send messages, I'm sure, one of the moderators, Vanessa, or True Magic, would be able to put stuff through if I can't be looking. Anyway, so meanwhile, using this screen to look at the script, look at that. Look at that. Great big letters. Huge. It's this new screen. I have to say thank you so much to, Martin Skanga, who sent me this enormous screen. Well, it's enormous for me. What is it? It's at least a 27-inch. It's a big wide screen, you know.
Wow.
It's good for old people who can't see very far. You know, I can scale it right up. So, thank you very much. That was been a real help. And
It's nice when people donate, and we do appreciate that people are generous and helpful to Wolf Spirit, and I appreciate if, I had some donations over the holidays and some, and any bit helps. It keeps us going. I could be working a job right now somewhere that, instead of doing this and getting this information and making sure everyone has it. So, it makes it a little difficult. I don't like to ask for anything, but it would be nice if people want to donate. I appreciate very much your support and especially the things that are coming through. I know that all of us will be abundant. So I don't have a lot of fear, but it would be nice
Well, it is
to,
nice. I
have
like,
all the things that we need at this
indeed.
time.
Indeed. Well, look,
Um,
if you're short, let me know. We'll figure a way
yeah,
it's a manifestation. Manifestation is
good
so much easier
manifest.
with other people. Because you just say to somebody, I need a this and that. And they say, oh, so-and-so's got a this and that, and they never use it. I'll go and ask them. There's a
I
lot of
know.
that. So,
Yeah, it's really wonderful. So yeah, so if anyone wants to donate, they can, either contact me at my website, www.readingsbyariel.com. And that's, readings by Ariel, ARAEL.com, or Jessica at readingsbyariel.com. So, that said, I don't know if you have any updates about what's going on. I was going to talk to, Wild Feather or Heidi and see what was going on over at, Standing Rock. I did hear, from Audrey. He said that, this is the third blizzard that they've had and they've gotten through. It's quite a bit of snow. It sounds like it's quite very cold. It looks like from some of the pictures that people are, trying to keep their makeshift housing intact with heavy snow coming down upon them. And I know that, look at the impact that a lot of snow has on even just a solid roof in a house. I mean, that can actually cause some damage. And so a lot of them were in tents or makeshift, homes. And, so they're having to dig each other out. And I think some people were seriously at risk on a few occasions. So, let's keep them in prayer and see what can be done, to support that. JP, do you have any other information?
I did see that I saw a video with Dan on it, Dan McBurlen, and he was wearing a rather funky hat, all I have to say. So I think some of the donations are coming through.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, well, they need
all I can
layers.
say. Lots of layers. Yeah. Lots of warm layers. If you can get proper North Face and stuff like that, that's the ideal, really.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so we're ready to go into Andronicus?
Just give me a second. Let me just invoke the special magic Wayback Machine. Oh, you first.
Hello, Andronicus. Where are you now?
Floating in space, containing my thoughts so I don't manifest in anger.
I felt that you avoid things. I feel that you avoid things and don't stay anywhere very long, just to feel the benefit or fruits of your labor.
I've tried to help so many civilizations, but they don't typically listen. I spent so much time in Japan. You don't know the knowledge that I gave to them. Yet they are so far from what they should know. They left me there, under the waters. Not a single one grieved my loss. Do you know what that feels like? To contribute so much, even as a patriarch, and not feel the love in return? I wasn't mocked or disrespected, just forgotten. I suppose I need to move on and go past the pain of it all.
You must be appreciated by others elsewhere. I'm sure of it.
Another fault I have is that I don't appreciate those who love me as I am. I almost resent it. I have a great deal of self-abhorrence. It holds me back and away from love. The textiles are here. I want you to do something with them. I am the one who wanted them sent to you. You are helping people consider reusing items already made. The excess of junk makes it hard for me to be even on your planet anymore. The plants and all its loveliness is eclipsed by brazen ads, buildings, vehicles, structures, bridges, modern monoliths of enterprise, strange satellites. Clutter, clutter, clutter. Learn to reuse, make less, restore more. Stop making toxic waste on your planet. None of us will come to help unless you make a change. We have the formulations to go to clean energy and reusable resources. I'm sorrowful, truly. I don't want to abandon your society, but this was never my contribution to you. My contribution was significant and in harmony with your plants, animals, atmosphere, and beyond. I have seen you as the most adored planet to become the most abhorred planet by your destructive practices and clutter. We know this is not your fault, but I choose not to go there until I see you all moving forward in change. It must be significantly more than I am seeing. The complexity of your society is set up that it is next to impossible to make the simplest of decisions or change, and this has to end. It is the system of the Dark Ones. They knew if they could isolate you from us, they would take over the planet. This was nearly accomplished. I see my friend Andronicus is making an effort to change, a glimmer of hope. The native people knew this was a problem for everyone. There are others, some you know and others you don't know. Don't let them tell you it is enough of a change. Keep going until everything is resolved. They are great at convincing others to do nothing and wait for others to do it. This is your dependency on their systems. Take your lives, your families and communities into a new structure on your own. We can help from a distance if you want to engage with this. I will tell you something. There is a powerful resource from us that the old structure doesn't and will never have. It contains a sense of satisfaction, abundance, and peaceful, harmonious living. Consider my words that I speak from the deepest core of my being. Please don't let your planet go to them. Take your sovereignty back. We will help and support you. Your loving friend, Andronicus. Oh.
What do you think? It's good.
He's a bit miffed.
Well, I
He's
think
a bit frustrated with us all.
They were looking at the planet from a distance and seeing, and I could see what he was seeing. It was like he was looking at the satellite and the stuff. You know what I mean? Floating around a very beautiful planet. And they can see, of course they've been here, and they see what we've done. And it's not so much the structures, it's the point that these structures have eclipsed the natural things. And so that's something that has to, I think he's not the only one. I know that there have been a few of others that have come and talked to some of our leaders and told them to stop using, certain products, whether it's plastics or,
nuclear weapons, yeah.
Nuclear weapons, but also just things that are pollutants. So, I mean, he's offering to give us help. I think it's just stepping out of a comfort zone. They all pretty much are talking about this today. It's almost as if, we have the freedom to kind of move forward. Some of the groundwork has been laid, and so we can move forward in making these changes. What I might do now is, since you don't have Jonas,
your other computer's down, is it?
the internet is completely down.
Oh, right. Oh, you're on the phone.
Yeah, I'm using the phone right now.
Oh, do you want me to call you back?
No, it's fine because
right.
That's all I have for, internet access.
Right, okay.
Is through my phone.
Okie doke. So, well, we'll have to do and bring Jonas in next week.
It's either that or I can read it through and then we can read it through another time as well.
Or you could, why don't you just read it?
I was thinking of reading it through.
Go on, just, you read it.
Okay. Okay, do we have like a little intro music for Jonas?
I wouldn't know what it would be, so let's just, let's give him a nice bell, shall we?
Okay. Did we get the bell yet?
Oh, you didn't hear it? I've done it
Oh,
twice. I did twice then.
oh, you did? All right. I didn't hear it. No, I couldn't
All
hear
right.
it on my end.
All right. Hang on. Let me do it again.
Oh, I heard it that time. Okay, Jonas, I am back to speak to you about the will of the Agarthans. A new gateway will be opening and they will be able to connect with their people from the upper earth. I know you are wondering why everything is taking so long. Not all of you are ready and perceive this as fantasy. It is okay. We understand the illusions have made you quite skeptical. I'm waiting to see that many new allies have arrived and more are coming. We are embarking upon a new age and hope that things will change the atmosphere in a more significant way. We have 2 questions for you to consider. You are being provided with the options regarding how you want to assist the planet in a new way. There will be some here to assist the process of rebuilding the planet or healing of the planet. It will break down into categories of tasks. Some will take on the task of providing new technology and energy factors. Others will be planting and establishing a more healthy fortress for the inhabitants. Another aspect for those who will be our liaisons and integrating our proven philosophy of community and structure upon your planet. Some will teach it to the government structures and on a local level. Others will teach better planting practices to your young adults in all ages. This is the reason why we had you write the book Green Stories for Green Children series. It is to help children become earth-minded, as the Dark Ones wanted to hijack their souls by having them so engaged into technology that they abandon all natural authority, including their parents, in the natural way of doing things. As the structures change hands, you will assist a process built upon love, truth, honesty, integrity, and a higher approach to responsibility, resourcefulness, and a greater awareness of the community around them. The concept of isolation, egoism, narcissism, self-righteousness, judgmental behaviors, brutish behaviors, and cruelty will begin to drop off as these influences are from the Dark Ones and they are being removed. You are an intelligent species, and that unfounded, aggressive behavior such as these will not be so available to your consciousness. At this point, the soul can begin to grow, develop, and evolve naturally without artificial influences and controls. Lift your hands and eyes to the stars to gain insight. We are both above and beneath you in support. Consider what task best suits you and begin moving in that direction. Don't wait for a sign. Just do what feels natural to do. You are accustomed to being told what to do. Now you are to take action on what you know to do. You have the answers to your questions. I will be removing some of the etheric constraints soon. I want you to know this in advance. It will be well. There are no wrong choices. Just remember, we are here to support your decisions. Be well, my friends. There was so much more to come. Jonas.
Bring out your Hollow Earth, people.
Yeah. It's like calling forth on the bell, right?
Yeah, it was a bit like, bring out your dead. Kind of Monty Python medieval
Yeah,
moment.
that was very Monty Python.
So yeah, so basically about the structures and how the new structures are going to be implemented. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So social what to do about how what happens after the powers that be.
The way that they're talking is if there's already been a shift.
Yeah.
And they're not the only ones. Like all of them are really talking seriously about different things that are going on right now. And, I was a little surprised, to be honest with you. And I think that they're just preparing us like, well, don't just wait. This is the time for you to start moving forward. And it's like we're waiting for a sign to come in from somewhere. But,
well, it might just be an ordinary day when you see an advert and something catches your eye and you think, oh, let's go there today. Let's have an afternoon out. You never know. What those very, almost random thoughts might take you. That's what I like to leave space in the day when random things can come in. I don't like an overly structured day because then I can't talk to the gods. Or at least I can't hear what they're saying.
I think that we did things differently, and I think, the systems have conditioned us. It's like Pavlov's dogs, told us what the structures are. As soon as you get out of the structural system of the cabal or the way that I'm not saying that hard work isn't something that we should do, and that for ages people would go out into the fields and work very hard and they would do things seasonally. And then there were times when they would rest. But it wasn't the way that things are done now, where people are working so many hours and not really experiencing time with the families. But I mean, I think the families at that time would all work together. So when we get it off of the system, and if a person pulls out of the system like I did, it's almost like, first of all, you feel like you're unusual. You're not in this construct. And then everyone assumes, and then the words start coming up like you're lazy, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and they don't understand that you're actually stepping out of the system and then trying to establish a schedule according to, and a flow according to why you're here, in an alignment. And for some people, it can be devastating. If you don't really trust the path, you can find yourself in some serious poverty and there's some serious challenges that can arise. Not to mention that you're critiqued. Now, in my situation, I didn't run to welfare or anything like that. I just have figured out ways to survive, and there are many others that have done that. And, but it might be a little tricky. So what I recommend for people is, rather than just cutting yourself off completely from the system, because the system is not collapsing at this point, but the energy behind it may be absent. So it will allow you to kind of step out to some degree and start implementing some other things that you want to do over and above what you're doing to sustain yourself financially. But start to wrap it around your head, start to really focus and think, what direction am I going into, or how can I make this change, or what am I here for? And really connect with that inner knowing of how do you implement and start making these changes, because we're the ones who actually make the change. The other powers are helping us to alleviate the control systems. But that's only a part of it. The other part is that we start doing what we know to do. And some people may need to, have some sessions, or have some sessions with me or with others to help open them up a little bit more, so that they can have a clearer vision of or clearer communication of what they're supposed to do, or just to remove some obstructions, whether they're emotional or even some healings that are necessary to help you to embrace your life in a different way. Because this is the part that's exciting, is that we're going to engage in something that we love to do and that we're making a difference and that there's a level of satisfaction and community that we're rebuilding.
You know, that's all of them. That's like all of the legs that we stand on, you know, who we live with, you know, our community, whether they're supportive of us. And wouldn't that be nice for a lot of people here maybe listening? You know, wouldn't it be nice to live in a house of people who don't call you a freak or a weirdo because you listen to Wolf Spirit Radio and you know somebody, or you've had experience, you know, with paranormal or Bigfoot or aliens or your star family or however you might address that which the mainstream media officially says does not exist. Yet the company that we keep are people who are, you know, experience it on a daily basis.
Right.
So wouldn't it be nice to live amongst people who experience this and it's normal and it's cool and there's no freak out? You don't have to go around trying to convince people of your reality. It's just normal. It just is as it is. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. I think that it's an awareness, and it doesn't have to be extreme. It can be subtle. I mean, I don't announce and I don't wear a sign everywhere I go what I do. There are people that have come to me as a client and they want to understand and know more about what I'm doing. And then, you know, it gets into, this work that I'm doing now. And, you know, like I said, I'm actually surprised. If anyone told me I'd be doing this work right now, I would have said I would have said no, thank you. But, you know, I'm so thrilled that I did take this road. I'm glad that I'm traveling down this path, and, there's so much reward in it. And I wouldn't trade anything in the world for this right now. I mean, honestly, it makes me happy. It makes me happy that, I'm able to share information. I would probably be getting this information anyhow. It's just that the rest of you wouldn't be hearing it. And what good is that? You know, I'd like people to know what I know, and so that it can help you to better understand, and come up with ideas of what you want to do. So there's endless possibilities, and of course, we're on the brink of something really amazing, and we just need to embrace it.
It sometimes feels a bit like those beagles that are held in the laboratories for all those years, and they're forced to smoke and everything, and they finally spring them out from the labs, and they're they're just sitting at the back of the little cage because they know nothing of living outside of the cage. You know, they've never seen grass before and all that. And sometimes I have a feeling like that, is that people at the point of release might not know what to do with it. But I suppose that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to realize how much we've undergone, you know, as far as trauma or whatever. And until we're at a place where we can just say, wow, you know, all that is gone now. We're constantly bombarded, and we have been, you know, the subliminal messages, the media messages, these tones that, you know, the scalar tones, the frequencies, people are, you know, just the energy that's coming from corporations. And I know people that have contacted me regarding some of the problems that they have at work. They have these amazing headaches at certain times of day. It's just really bizarre. And a lot of this energy needs to go. And, some of it is leaving. And some of us have been working, every night, every day, you know, on trying to, shift some of the energies in the planet. And some of you have the keys to make those differences as well. And I encourage you to do so if you are aware of it. But, you know, in the end, it's all worth it. It's definitely worth it. we don't need to be subservient. We don't need to be in that place. We need to see our divinity and our connection to the divine source and why we're here. So, and enjoying life, you want to see the family structure. I know that, there's people need to be in harmony at home and in their relationships, or if you need to part, then part in a harmonious way. Those people that fight over money and houses and, property, I know sometimes it's necessary, but I'll tell you, if you're sitting in a courtroom, there is absolutely no benevolence there. There's no love. You have to release and let some things go. And then sometimes, you need to hold your ground. I don't know. It's your choice. But remember, everything's temporal. Everything's, the necessities of life are not excess, and they're not a lot of the superficial things that we think are important. So, yeah, we're learning. We're moving along in that way.
Yeah, it's good to learn. I think to not be too. I think greed is the result of a kind of panic that you're not going to get enough. And if we feel that there's going to be enough, that, if everybody has the feeling that there is enough for everybody, if that belief system, is carried, then there is enough for everybody in that ironic sort of way. Because if everybody's assured, then they won't panic, and when they won't, then they won't appear to be greedy.
Yeah. And the malice too of it, the anger.
Yeah. Competition.
Betrayal between couples. It's horrible.
Jessica, the J word. Jealousy. Do you remember Rhodan last week? He said jealousy was it last week, 2 weeks ago? Jealousy is murder. Wow. That was so powerful.
Yeah.
That cut me to the core. That did. That was like, ooh, you nailed it there, sir. You nailed it.
Yeah. The horrible things that have come out of jealousy. And all of us have it. I mean, to say you don't have it is denial. But if we are content with ourselves, then that's one of the tests. If we're content with ourselves, we're not jealous of anyone else. We got to be content with who we are. We have to be content with, remember, every objects or things, they don't have a soul. They don't have value. Humans have value. Animals have value. Plants have value. But objects are things that we make. And they're not all necessities. And for us to be envious because someone has a certain car or a certain type of clothing or a certain type of jewelry, it's not good, because they're objects and they're things, and some people accumulate them and find absolutely no peace of mind and no pleasure from them in the end. So it's important that people have their priorities right. What's the value? What's more valuable? It's the soul has value. The objects have minimal value. They serve a purpose, maybe for bartering. Maybe it's, all right, you choose one kind of hat over another. You need the certain things to keep you warm. But we don't need everything that we think we need. So some of those things will change as your consciousness shifts. And, it could be we have a lot more stuff when our consciousness shifts, because, it's not a big issue anymore. But remember, to never get into a place of jealousy over things. And everything, there's something for everyone. The universe is abundant for everyone. It's not just for one or two people, which we've been taught is a belief that certain people get everything and others don't. That's their system. It's not our truth. And so we don't have to embrace it. So isn't that right? JP?
I think that if we have the idea that there's enough for everybody, that there's at least someone for everybody at the moment, or whatever you need, whatever support you need. I think at the moment we need inter-healer support, because there's a lot going on for everybody. And it's stressful for the healers who are having to take on more and more negative energy from their clients. So we do need to look after each other as well.
We do, and we're going to help each other along, and we're not going to be in judgment of anyone either, because everyone's at a different place. And that's another thing that gets us in trouble, because as we're learning and understanding, we have to realize that everyone's at, it could be someone that's a multi-billionaire and we're sitting there in judgment, but maybe they want to learn. They could learn, and with their hearts open, they could contribute and help others. So we want to be open-minded and not to be in judgment. We're working on ourselves, and when you're working on yourself, it's between you and the universe, between you and the God source, and we don't have to be in judgment about. We don't have to let anyone judge us either. This is something that we figure out on our own, and when we do, then we embrace it. And then if someone chooses something different, that's their path and that's their choice. But we don't sit there and say, well, they're going to get in trouble for that or whatever. Just let it go. It's none of your business. Leave it alone. I found that I became free when I decided to take on that feeling and not worry about everything around me. I grew up in a town that had incredible wealth on one end, and there were kind of people of a between middle and lower class, or slightly above middle class, and then you have this extreme wealth. It was a big jump. And I remember we went to the same school. I remember they needed the same thing we needed. They still wanted popularity. They still wanted this, that, and the other thing. And I realized that they were just like us, but they had better vacations, whatever else, maybe more expensive shoes. But it didn't matter. I learned it didn't matter. And I learned to talk to people of all different backgrounds and spectrums, and people that came from the other side of the tracks, and all the different, cultural backgrounds. We had people that were Armenian and all different races. And, it was very eclectic. So, you just realize when it comes down to it, you're looking at the soul. Everything else is the shell, and this is who we are. But on the outside is who we want to describe who we are. But, when you look into each other's eyes, we're all, souls here having this experience. So, you just learn a lot, and you get out of that whole competition thing, and you just become who you are. Everyone wants to belong. They want to fit in. If it feels like, we're stepping into this experience and we're not fitting in, then, you can integrate some stuff, kind of feel, be like everyone else, but yet include some other aspects and teachings, or beliefs into your experience, so that people will ask questions and learn. And I think a lot of people understand the common, thread of caring about one another, as well as, caring about the planet. So, that's a good way to start.
It's good and healthy to have hobbies and interests that are unique. Some people study 14th century French, toilet paper. I don't know. It's just this is something really, really specific that nobody else is interested in. Just some people are into that, into that thing.
Yeah. And find that niche, right?
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have your,
there's
makes you unique. Yeah.
Techie people that know how to figure all this stuff out. And then, I have friends that like making, they're going back into knitting, and I started making jewelry, just doing creative things and reusing items. I have.
It was really interesting, that thing about reusing items, because this is, again, if it's the conversation you've been having, it's the conversation I've been having today. Literally, I was talking not 2 hours ago about the very thing of recycling clothing and making money out of recycled. For the let system that I've been part of, that was one of the things, is that one of the things that people sold was clothing that they'd taken out of charity shops, and maybe tie-dyed or recolored or, done something with it.
Yeah, and not
give
only
it a new
that,
lease of
sometimes,
life.
some of them have beautiful, expensive materials, and like silks or linens or whatever,
Yeah.
and you can. I saw a woman at one of the fairs that I go to because I do psychic fairs on occasion, and they have people that come in that create things, whether they're candle makers or they make their own soaps and lotions, and um then there's those people that come in and they have like reused material. This woman came in, she was making these really cool gloves, you know, with material that she got from something that they were going to throw away, and it was like imported material from Italy. And she made like shawls and scarves and hats and just a lot of fun stuff. So she took the item and just reused it. And otherwise, it'd be tucked away somewhere and no, people look at it and not know what to do with it because you see it at face value. You have to see beyond that and be creative. Now some of you are saying, oh, I'm not into any of that stuff. And that's fine. Like I said, there's a need for everyone. There are those that are great communicators and those that know how to network. There are those that, like you said, are very focused on a niche area and, creating those networks and being in that place is really good. And there's a lot of information out there that I don't know, maybe someday someone's really good at putting together a website where all the resources can come together and, like Bitcoin, start doing some bartering, on there. Some of those ideas have been coming in as well. So.
Oh yeah, it's all connected. It's all connected. That's why I played that song. We're all connected. This is a really connected day. It's, it's, the penultimate day of 2016. It's been a real, spring of few on you. Who could have guessed about the clowns? Who would have known? Killer clowns on the street in 2016. Who could have known? Anyway, who could have known, well, anyway, all this stuff. Shall we place our swords at our sides and kneel on one kneel and bow down towards the great master Rhodan? We are now one. Our worlds are now colliding in a synchronous way. I see the last gate is the open, the flower gate.
Oh, now you sound like Meetis. How was it named the flower gate?
I just wanted to make sure you were listening. You seem to be very attentive to Meetis, much more than you should be. We should be your primary focus right now. He never knows his place. Furthermore, let's keep your focus on the reason why you are here on this planet. I allow you to go off and do those trivial things like you do, but until all the work is done, you mustn't rest on your laurels or get too engaged with human encounters. There, I've addressed it. It's not my highest interest to meddle in your personal affairs, but they are watching you very closely now. I see you are diligent, but we are at the precipice and your focus is crucial. Please assist when necessary and the rest will be provided. Soon the primary work will be done. You see, your abilities take you far beyond the dimensions. It is a rare gift and must be utilized to help all those desiring to enhance this galaxy for the good. There is much to be learned in your circumstance. Many will benefit by your assistance. It is not a warning. We know how you feel. It is a request of need. Just a little bit longer and the primary problems will be resolved. There are others who have sacrificed much to see the planet well. Some gave their entire lives. Others have sacrificed much. In light of that, you're not being asked to give up anything other than just to be available when needed. That means that others are not allowed to interfere until it is done. I have a question for you. What has more purpose, the planet or the consciousness of humanity?
They both seem to be important. I would say both.
You're right, and you're wrong. We can rebuild a planet, but where would the souls reside while we do so? There seems to be entanglement, am I correct? One must have the other, or so it seems. Can souls drift from place to place without boundaries, going from one planet to another? It is possible for this to be true. We're considering many options. Space, matter, is all constructed in a way that it can reformat or establish in another way. What one person perceives as chaos, another sees as divine order. The most intricate of structures have an amazing feeling of chaos to many. Was the planet and galaxy created out of chaos? It may appear that way by the naked eye, but with closer examination, as your scientists are beginning to explore, there are patterns of geometric structure that many have not quite figured out. The human brain perceives complex structures as chaos and disorder because they're searching for patterns. Sometimes we only see a section of the patterns to be revealed. Sometimes we only allow a section of the patterns to be revealed. The substructure is too complex for the human mind at this time. We would need to lift the construct to allow the human mind to perceive more. Yes, we have control of this. A little at a time. It is all on a basis of trust. If I give you the materials to build a garden and you do nothing with it, then why should I entrust you with the farm? If you cannot manage a small space, then why should I have a large one? If you cannot manage yourself, why would we make you in charge of many? Even those who choose to bring children into this world but refuse to properly manage your lives and your children's lives, the souls will be given to others. This is a law built within your construct. We need to know who are capable of being in control of things. Too many try to usurp authority over others when they don't have their lives in order or their families are falling apart. This was all due to a disruption in the construct where humans were allowed to take and do things that were not supposed to be in their reality. We have an earned status of growth. They have a system that breeds narcissism, selfishness, cruelty, neglect, and self-righteousness. These are all attributes of rebellion, not against us as you imagine, but against yourselves and those around you. The rebellious system was designed to allow you to self-destruct, to destroy your central core of knowing and cut off those who would naturally love you. We have been saddened to see this level of pain exist amongst your society, and we can help you restore much. Not everything is lost, and now you have allowed us to intercede and lift much of the rebellious system from your construct. As we continue to do so, reach out to loved ones and embrace them. Everyone has suffered. We would love to see the suffering stopped. We would be pleased to see your next generations thrive and family souls and soul groups be reunited and strong. There is much to be said, but not enough time to do so. I love you all like my children. We are all one and the same. Your essence came from us. You are a reflection of many challenges and hardships we have had to face as well. Remember, you are our reflections as we are to you. Our hearts are full of love and compassion. Take this into yourselves. Jonas is here. He will help you get started with your connection to the Agarthans. Tell Chris we see his work. Tell Viking a job well done and more to come. Viking, a door is opening up for you. Go forward now. Primus, you are enduring well. A father of many. Don't let them whisper in your ears of lies of cruelty. Send them away. They are the dark ones left to haunt you. It is no longer your problem to save them. They have already made their decisions. They will lie and say they are an emissary of light. They are an emissary of deception. Just send them back to us. We know where they should go. Trust us. You have so much celebration ahead. The walls will be broken down and the visions will expand. Peace to you, my son. It will all be well. Your father, Ahura Mazda, is finally at his place of peacefulness. There is no need to worry. I must go now to the farther reaches of the galaxy to change an audience.
An ordinance.
No. I must go now to the farther reaches of the galaxy to change an ordinance. You have helped make this possible. The galaxy is beginning to have balance once again after many long years. Blessings to you all. Rhodan.
had a lot to say there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Keeping me in line.
This is like a personal message that is like speaking to all of us. Yeah, there's Viking and, Jonas and there we go, Chris.
Chris.
Funny.
He talked to all of them, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's, I think he sees them as a part of what's going on. And it's trying to encourage people to keep going, because some people are holding a certain kind of responsibility or weight, and it's been unbearable at times for some. So I think he's just trying to encourage. So I see everyone. I actually have used my tablet, and I'm able to get into the chat and see.
Yay! Take a tablet before dinner. That's always good. You can only use that joke once. I think I played that one. Okay.
Paul asked if Rhodan was having a bad hair day. Well, he,
I'm having a bad hair lifetime. What's your problem?
It was really fun. At the beginning, he threw me off. He was like,
the flower thing. That was funny.
Yeah. The whole Meetis thing.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody, because he's saying like everybody's listening to Meetis and paying too much attention to Meetis rather than like we're too much. Meetis is like the ice cream, he's the dessert. And everybody's like, I'm sure that people, will like fast forward the things to only get the Meetis thing. I'm sure there'll be like, people will clip out Meetis and like do videos of Meetis all in one go.
Yeah. Just go to the end, right? Just go to the end and get Meetis.
Yeah, just get the Meetis fix. So let's see if we can get the Meetis fix. I'm going to get Clara behind him.
We need to get the guitar out too.
Yeah.
He's got a song here. Yeah, but Rhodan, there was a lot of meaning in what he said. I didn't take it to heart in a bad way. I knew what he was saying. He's just trying to get me to, it's almost like you're close to the finish line, which I thought was actually promising, rather than getting upset about what he was saying.
What was that?
I thought it was promising, that he was encouraging me to keep going and not to quit, because I felt like we're getting close to the end.
Yeah, he said it's like just a little bit more. And he's not like, being mean to you. He's saying, just a little bit more and everything will be fine. I know that feeling as well. Like, oh, Dad, I don't want to go. Like, come on, darling, it's just like, it's only another mile to go, but we've already done 15 miles. Well, that's why, so there's only a mile to go, but I'm tired. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
I think we all do that. Yeah. We've all done it.
We all whinge. Everybody has, and I certainly got to a point of having a good whinge the other day. And I tell you, I felt so much better after it, because it's like, sometimes our inner child needs to have a whinge. It needs to get, be in the back of the car and like, I'm bored, and just have a good cry.
I know. Just I used to be, wonder about that. When I had my son, he was younger. And, he'd be upset. I'd, go through all these different, go through the effort of getting him to a certain location, or, I think we went to Disney or something like that. And I thought, oh, this is fantastic. And then I realized, I said, this is fantastic for me, not for him, because he hated walking around. And so here he is crying at Disney. And I think a lot of people probably can relate to this. It's just bringing your child to a place where you think that they're going to be so thrilled. And then they're crying and you're like, what's wrong with this picture? Because you're the one who's excited about it. And they're just seeing it like they have to walk everywhere, or, we're not thinking about any of that stuff. So yeah. And then you realize once they cry and they get it out of their system and they're completely satisfied.
Yeah.
And then everything's fine.
And that's the thing, because a lot of children, they take on, especially these days, school is such a pressure. And really, children do need to, adults as well. Like I was saying, we all need to have a little whinge, a little cry, and not to feel bad about it, because we've all got, we're like a tree that still has the sapling in the middle. Even a 700-year-old tree has a sapling right in the middle of it. You could even carve it right out. And it's still there. So we've all got an inner child. Right in the middle. And, what upsets us when we were 6 still upsets us. And, sometimes it just needs, and what I call it, we call it discharge, according to one thing that, and, what would happen is, that I would hold my son. I'd just hold him tight. It wouldn't be like really, like throttling him or anything, but just hold him around him, and let him shout, scream, and, have a good scream and cry. But know that he's loved and he's completely surrounded. And he used to call that getting the crying out.
Yeah, it's just.
See, he knows the value of discharge. So.
Yeah, definitely. And I need to tell Conrad that we're going to be with him in a few minutes. If you're listening, Conrad, we're going to bring you in soon after.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry. We're all connected. Anyway, so meanwhile,
Meetis.
hello, my lovely. I heard what Rhodan said about me. I'm sorry if I got you in a bit of trouble. It's been a long time since I've had a true friend, a confidant. I know you tell others about me, but you must understand, I think about you and look forward to being reunited with kindred spirits and loved ones. My heart truly longs for all of that. I have another friend. She's wonderful. What a dresser. All the frills and baubles one could imagine. We play and dance to late hours of the night. Do you know who she is? I'm sure you'll remember. I want you to come with me. Visit me in my chambers so we can laugh and play a bit. I'm very lonely and sad. Some say I'm suffering. It is true. I don't know why I feel this way. You like a feather, light and frivolous but heartfelt. You shouldn't be bound by everything. They have you watched night and day and no one says anything. This is not supposed to be your work and you know it.
I've often thought of that as well, and if it is not my work, then why am I doing it?
Because they've deceived the ones who are supposed to be doing the work. You opened your eyes and did your own work. It was because they never stepped up and became self-indulgent or appeasing of their own desires, taking in the pleasures of the world without regard of responsibility. I know them, always taking credit for everything but having others to do the labour. Granted, they had a powerful essence and did little with it. One just left. I saw his star fly off and no one knew who he was except for you and me. It is time to tell the world so his soul will be at peace. Some disliked him.
Are you talking about George Michaels?
Yes, no one remembers who he is. He had the energy to connect with many, but he didn't remember why he was here. He was an Andromedan, a mighty one at that. I knew him well and communicated with him. He called me a fool. I told him he was fooling himself. In all honesty, I wanted him to remember. Just when he would begin to open up who he was, he would run from it and hide through substances and behaviours. It was too much for him. I know his pain and sorrow, and since he didn't listen, I shut him off from my window. Now, see what has happened. He could have helped all of you. He can't help anyone anymore. They will bring him back to Andromeda to help him understand what had happened. There are still others out there. I can't help them. If they're constantly being bombarded by the dark forces, I may have mischief, but I am no way in alliance with the Dark Ones. They are seething and destructive beyond imagination. They don't bother me, but I am troubled what they do to humanity and those help to send the... They don't bother me, but I'm troubled by what they do to humanity and those sent to help the planet. That's the reason why I'm here. To help all of you and help awaken the children of Andromeda, Lyra, Pleiades, Orion, Sirius and others. The Vegas all remember. It's coming full circle. As the dark ones recede, we can have fun again. When the light ones awaken, we will break bread and share what we have. Some of them are in such poverty and hardship. All this will change. Sing, my friend Primus. Sing for the children of Andromeda. They were scattered and isolated the most. Mm-hmm. Hang on, I need to reform. This single spacing. Okay, there we go. No, there we go. Oh, no, there we go. No, that didn't do anything. Gold. Oh, yeah. Well, that was very interesting, though.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah, let me just, special? No. Line spacing. Single line spacing. Exactly. Come on.
Someone said, what was it, Buzzmax said, what were you thinking taking us to Disneyland? Are you trying to kill us?
So, let's see if I can get this right. Mm-hmm. So, William, Conrad is trying to call in, but I'll pick him up after the song, all right? Precious star Andromeda, the home of angel wakings, the pain of true heartbreakings. I see you float beside me, I see the pain subsiding. I want you to recover, to seek and find a lover. Go now, my friendly dynasty, you're the core of the galaxy. Andromedan friends of love, we hold you high once more. Look through the gold scrolled door, there beholds a gateway to restore. La, 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 la. I am your friend forevermore. Seek not the silver door. La, 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 la. Don't fall in the trap on their floor. La, 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 la. I'm yours forevermore. Oh, there's another bit though.
There's another bit, yeah.
Oh, farewell now, Ketron. Thanks for holding the space. I am free from this place now and will be always. Primus, you are my friend, and I'm sending another blessing to you. Farewell, my flower, and tell all the other flowers to love their mates. Hold them tonight in love. If they don't have a mate, they will soon find love. It is a good year to be alive. Whoa. So, George Michael, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, another one.
I
Another
know.
one bites the
I really
dust.
thought about Dag, the whole Dag situation. It was sort of similar in a way.
You know, when I was in Ireland, we were driving along and it was in a car park deep in the deep part of Cork, County Cork, and we were behind a car, and all the number plates have the particular Irish format, and this one didn't, and it was. I'm not joking, but the words. I mean, to me and to my partner there, well, we saw this, and it said King Dag. It just said King Dag, and I thought, thank you very much. 'Cause, you know, there was this, because we were in this, it was a beautiful old country estate, a place where Meetis would be certainly very at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
He probably was there.
yeah,
I'm sure he's been throughout all the UK.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a good year to be alive.
Yep, a good year to be alive.
Yeah, that's a good statement.
Mm-hmm.
Craig, UK said that Obama just kicked all the Russian intelligence out of the US.
Oh dear. How does he know?
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you know you've gotten rid of all the Russian intelligence spies?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure
They're
there's...
the ones known.
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting. Craig, just to let us know with the sources and, interesting.
Obama.
Anyhow.
So,
why don't we go into, get some music and we'll bring in Viking
indeed.
and Conrad.
Let's do so. So, you were talking about a sense of belonging. This is Lenny Kravitz with I Belong to You.
Well, hello everyone, and we are back. So, I think, do we have Viking here too? We have Conrad.
I can bring him in.
Okay. Hello, Conrad.
Conrad, you need to be much closer to the mic. There we go.
Yeah, it also helps to unmute.
That's great. That's a lovely sound.
Oh, we apologize. I meant to connect with you earlier, but the show ran over a little in time.
Shall I also see if I can find Bret?
Sure, yeah. So, so tell us what's going on. I know that you usually have the update for coming from Nasara. And I don't know if you heard the show. Did you hear what Jonas had to say?
No, I just came in just now.
Okay.
But
So why don't you give us an update of what's going on right now from the perspective of Nasara?
Oh, okay. We're sort of
update.
we're looking at the tools for 2017 from the celestial beings, white beings, and they're saying transitions require acceptance and love, increasing the flow of the Creator's universe through our being and allowing remembrance to dawn at this time of ascension in order to encourage yourself to recognize the wealth that exists within your being. Now will support you to then be able to honor the love within your being and use it in the next stage of your ascension. Take time at this particular time right now to consciously share energetically with your body, with your surroundings, with loved ones, and with your career, all you wish to manifest into reality. Let this action cleanse all illusions and pain and suffering and anything that's no longer needed. This is a simple yet empowering practice to achieve at least once a day as we enter 2017 and throughout the year. This simple practice will assist you in three ways. Firstly, it will allow your entire being and reality to be aligned with your soul. Secondly, it will assist you in accepting the love of the Creator. And thirdly, it will support you in creating the necessary shifts and experiences to aid your ascension throughout the year. Ask your guides or your soul to accelerate your ascension at this time. Use the following. The celestial beings are saying: Archangel Metatron for anchoring and releasing of old energies. The Venus beings to download of light and consciousness to humanity at a mental level, to be able to bring forth love within your being. The Christ consciousness to support and aid the integration of your soul with your entire being at a physical level. The higher aspects of your soul to synthesize with consciousness brought forth into your being because of your alignment. And the masculine and feminine energy in us all, the power of intention and embodiment to manifest creation or your creative abilities. Use your soul group whether or not you really understand who those people are, because your soul group helps you merge the wisdom and abilities of that group to become available to you. With alignment, this opportunity can be enhanced and experienced more fully. Ground your truth. Allow yourself to hold the intention of grounding in order to further assist and support the downloading of new aspects of your soul and merging with your personality. Observe your relationship with yourself and others. Recognize that each relationship, each person that you come in contact allows you to enhance your relationship with the Creator. Manifest your love through your actions. Recognize now, throughout 2017, that it is through your actions on earth that you can experience the wealth of love within you. Create and anchor love into the earth, as well as support the manifestation of the era of love. Create an intention to ensure that you create at least 3 actions daily born from the Creator's unconditional love within you. They can be small and simple actions that support yourself and others in connecting with the ever-growing presence of love within. And lastly, celestial support. We, the celestial white beings, are present to be of service to you and to anchor our vibrations of bliss into your being's spiritual evolution and reality. Please call upon us and support any healing transitions or process you wish to take place within you. Our healing vibrations are always available to you. Simply call upon our energies and we will assist you in deep inner transformation, which will emanate into your entire being and reality. Our wisdom is always available to you and our assistance for your soul integration. To connect with the energies, simply repeat the affirmation, I am bliss, while focusing on our pure white light surrounding you and melding into your being. It is time to create, time to embody, and time to experience the love within you in creative, blissful, and soul-inspired ways. I am the creation, embodiment, and experience of the Creator, with eternal bliss, the celestial white beings.
That's really beautiful, Conrad.
It really touched me. It came forward this morning.
And the information was channeled, or it came from a source?
It was channeled through Natalie Gleason.
Okay.
Natalie Gleason, she lives in the mountains in England, in a spiritual center, and she's got the same sort of energy as Mother Teresa, the saint that worked in India for so long.
Yeah.
That's kind of the energy of this woman. She's amazing.
And so is she kind of a spokesperson for the Agarthans, or is this just light beings that she's representing?
She channels the heavenly beings and other people that are of a high nature that come through, and it's always timely, almost to things that are happening daily, that she'll speak and put into perspective.
Well, that's wonderful. I just wanted, I was looking at the chat room and some people that don't typically listen to my show, we're trying to understand what was going on during the show. So there's a dialogue. I get channeled information actually daily, but, I do this weekly where I will ask, what they have with the collective and they'll give me some of it. Starts off, very personal, but usually it's everything that's being said is really for everyone. And, I could, like I said, I could retain that information for myself, or I could share it with other people and then they can hear what was being said. So, what I do is then I write it, I hear it and I write it, and then, we read through it as a dialogue. So it sounds like a play. And of course, JP's, acting ability is very wonderful, and he's multi-talented. So it enhances it. It becomes enjoyable. Unfortunately, I'm not the prime actress here, but that's okay. I'm channeling the information in for you. And, so if there's any confusion, that's what it is. And some of it sounds very personal, and it is. But like I said, this is the information that I get regularly, and they will let me know what's going on. Let's see. So, let's see, is Viking, you here with us?
Yes, I just wanted Conrad to share the source information on YouTube so people can be tying in to this. I mean, Conrad and I listen to I listen to 8 to 10 a day. He probably goes up into the 20s. I mean, every day, vital information is coming in from multiple sources who channel, from the Agarthans to the galactic beings. And this is kind of where I get a correlation of information. So it kind of ties it together. So
yeah, and then people are resonating with whatever they feel comfortable with.
Right. So one of these stations I listen to is Higher Self on YouTube. And from there, as Conrad pointed out in the past, it'll give you a whole plethora of other stations with other channels. So, I mean, I really would recommend subscribing to a couple of these channels and really checking out the information, because the information is very pertinent to the hour. I mean, it really is breaking into some very, substantial information that can help to diffuse the misunderstandings and the confusion that we might be experiencing.
So, Viking, why don't you share with us what you have for us today? So what's on your mind? And I don't know if you were listening to the earlier transmissions.
I was, but for some reason, I've got a complete block on Jonas. I just remember the 3 bells, and then for some reason, I don't know where I went.
Maybe I triggered something. Or gone into a cosmic void,
I know, I hit these 3 bells, and I can't remember anything. It's just so strange. But what is really, what stood out with Rhodan was the precipice. I mean, this is something that I definitely, I'm seeing and understanding. That it's not only a precipice, but we are definitely in the, flow of ascension. The ascension process, is in motion. I mean, as I pointed out, this is not a dress rehearsal. This is curtain call. I want people to remember that we all signed contracts, to enter into this karmic spin, up to 10,000 years ago, in preparation of what's happening this very moment. They are counting on us to fulfill our duties and in respect to our talents, to who we are, to our passion. This love and bliss comes from, entering this non-time state, which is disentangling from all of this, contrast and negative, programming that we're subjected to, and unifying our true sense of self through our passion, expressing our talents that we can then share with humanity. This is why we're here, folks. I got this vision today of this huge galactic river. It stretches on for not, and there's 8 million logs that are jammed in this river. We're in a log jam, entangled. And all of these different varieties of pain and suffering, you just go ahead and fill in the blank. You know yourself better than anyone. But what's happening here is that we are starting to the river or the time is compressing. It's the river of time as we know it, but we're going into non-time because it's time because it's stuck. Because we're in a log jam, we experience it as time. And as we start to disentangle ourselves, you got the front half there breaking away because it's the first wave of ascension. They're breaking away now. And they're creating less pressure, which is going to eventually force this whole thing to break open. But our duties here are really to search within and to truly disentangle. I mean, jealousy, as JP pointed out, is a big one. Judgment, fear. I mean, I was listening to a show last night on SOR, and Dave Scott had this experiencer on. He's talking about being in the woods, and these fireflies are coming up to him, and he's running away, because he doesn't know what to expect, or these orbs, and he's running away. Well, these are nature spirits, and these are galactic spirits, and these are elementals trying to connect with you. Fear is keeping us from moving forward. It's creating chaos and confusion. Surrendering to a higher sense of self and tying into just an expansive a belief and understanding that we are here for a purpose and we are being guided. Just gotta pay attention, man. Just pay attention. Just feel your hearts. And then as Conrad pointed out, then allow your bliss to take over. It is a surrender. Absolutely a surrender. You have to get on board and you have to actually find your sense of self. As was pointed out, a daily practice, create an altar, statuary, pictures, candles, crystals that can atone you and bring you in a moment of solitude that you're connecting with a higher sense of self, which then brings in a galactic awareness. Your DNA starts to upgrade. Your codexes will be activated. You'll start to remember the magnificent person that you are and why we're here. And then we're all going to get on board and start acting. We're in a sandbox throwing sand in each other's face. Well, let's build a castle. A magnificent castle that we could all, just be inspired by and actually, just fall into this magical mystery tour as I bring up on every show beyond our perception that we'll just be able to be inspired in this utopia that is before us. Just gotta get on board, guys. That's my report.
It's your report. Wonderful. I know that there's some other things that are coming up too, and I'm inviting everyone in the chat room if you have any questions. There's a question here from, just posted in the chat room and I'll read them through. What are good crystals for an altar? Maybe all of us can, include some insight. Let's start with, Viking.
I suggest going into one of those metaphysical shops and just, it's like a tarot deck. It'll just speak to you. It just will just literally start picking them up, walking around, and just see what attracts. This is true with anything. What is attracting you? What is waking, attraction is a rekindling or reconnection with a sense of self. I personally am gravitating towards amethyst because that's more of the violet ray or transition change. Clear quartz is clarity. Smoky is a good one if you want to ground. Citrine will activate your emotional chakras and help you to clear your pain and suffering. Green, your emeralds and fluorites will help with your expression of self, being able to share and communicate more clearly. Rose quartz, of course, will tie into your inner child. A tourmaline, the basic intergalactic, primordial expression of life. It'll tie into your indigenous, or your DNA. So there are many, it just, also there's books, but again, I just think start handling them and see how they talk and how they communicate.
JP, would you recommend shungite for the altar?
Altars. I don't know if crystals and altars really, right. So what is an altar? Altar is a fragment that has been, broken off through trauma, either deliberately or by design. So I don't know, using crystals to do it. It's better to talk to somebody, it's better to debug it and reprogram your own self. Basically, it's the connect. There's ways of doing it. I've figured one way, and if so, you can come to me for it. But it's the same treatment as for PTSD, but I don't know about using. For me, I wouldn't use a crystal to do something that would take half an hour. You take a year with a crystal, you do it in half an hour. So that's my response. But I use crystals all over the place.
Mm-hmm. You have them everywhere, not just particularly on an altar, right?
Yeah. Oh, I understand what you mean now by an altar. I was talking about like personality fragment altars.
Oh, I see.
I was not thinking about altars as in like a little prayer place where you, so
my
my response would be entirely inappropriate. That was so just scratch that as a completely inappropriate response because I didn't know exactly what you were talking about. All right. An altar what crystals on an altar? What would I use? Well, I just love, just look, you find the crystals that you love, right? I'm lapis lazuli. I love the blue of lapis lazuli. Yes, I've got shungite and I've got, quartz. But it's whatever you love. That's what goes on it. Don't follow anybody else's recipe than your own. And your own is dictated by your heart. And your heart is connected in with the things that you love. That's, it's a very simple thing. If you love it, that's what your heart loves. It's an easy way of finding something out that your heart likes. If you love it, that's it. So
the stones are alive. They speak to you.
That's right. So put the crystals that attract you. Don't question your attraction to them. Just go with it. This one looks pretty. That feels nice. Oh, that one will fit there. Just like that kind of, a very light feeling. Not like, I've got 5 crystals here and I've got 4 of them have to be standard and I got 50 and the formula's this and I was told never to do this on a full moon with the, that's just BS. Just go with your heart. Go, what will you love? What do you love? Do you like that? Do you like that pattern? If you don't like a square, make it a star. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Whatever you love. It's the love. That's what's important. There are no formulas apart from love. And love is, what you love doing. If you love, if you love what you've just done, if you don't love it, just, take the crystals up and make a new one until you do something that you love. That's lovely. Maybe it needed a feather. Maybe it needs, so me, an altar is a representation.
I put a plant there too, or flowers.
Sorry, I'm babbling on.
Plant or an icon if you feel comfortable. I put moldavite on mine. I like moldavite and otherworldly type of stones. And, it depends on what mood I'm in, but I do have Lemurian crystals on mine as well. So whatever you gravitate toward. I think I want to shift the conversation if something came up and maybe Conrad can help us with this. There was a question in the chat. If, what is Nasara and the RV connected?
See, what happened was, they had these, global warming accords that were taking place up to about 2 months ago in Paris. And, they were pretty much done discussing that. But they needed the world leaders to get together to finish talking about the Nasara, and internationally it's called Gesara, national economic changes to all of the countries in the world to go back onto a gold standard. And so they use that forum, and the newer leaders from all these different countries, the ones that are more humanistic, are the ones that actually went. Some of those leaders at the time weren't even announced to be the new leaders in their country. And we're going through a transition in this country and a lot of other countries. So there's new governance on the earth, and that ties in with going to a gold standard, which is Nasara. And the Pope's unexpected visit here to the United States a couple months back, where he signed off completely for all ownership of any monetary transfers and released everything for the new world currency revisions. The RV is the reevaluation of the currency, and that's part of Nasara. Other part of it, maybe it's not as important, but it will make more difference to more people, is that all credit card debt, all mortgage loans, all bank loans, and excluding agreements between people. You know what I mean? If you owe your neighbor money, you still owe your neighbor money. But as far as all the bankers haven't cheated everybody in the world through this monetary system of control for such a long time, that the 50-year tradition of forgiving all debts every 50 years is what is transpired, and that was originally approved 20 years ago under when William Clinton was president of the United States. You know, almost at gunpoint, they got him to sign it. And every Congress since then has signed on to it. And so that was what was finally approved by 209 countries. And it's so imminent, it's pregnant, this announcement ready to be happening the first of the year. I've given up on expressing my opinions of time when things are going to happen, because that's the Inner Earth of Garthans just went through that, and they said it would happen by Christmas. Well, actually, the money was released on the 24th, early in the morning. All the bankers at the 8,600 different places in the United States where you'll be able to transfer your currency, all those have everything in place, all the funds are in place, and they're releasing the 800 number supposedly tomorrow. But here I go making another time estimate. But if you follow that, you'll see it's all in place, and they're related because the Jubilee is also part of the is a part of the program. So everything is related, including the new republic going back to the original constitutional government of the United States, and similar in other countries. So I think that might answer the question.
Yeah. So, well, I think that, it's really hard for anyone to predict what's going to happen or when it's going to happen, because first of all, the powers are still contending over, what happens on the earth. So the ones that have been in control for, I don't know how many years. Is it a couple thousand years? Has it been hundreds of years? I don't know how long this particular system that has been, controlling the way that our governments are run. There are powers still in place. That's my understanding, is as long as these powers are in place, then, we can't move forward. So there's many that are still trying to disband the powers and, prevent. It's really, an other dimensional space where this is happening. And, they're creating obstacles and blocks and miscommunications, contentions, threats of wars, and all these other things, threats of shutting down the grid. They're saying that all these things are benevolent, but I disagree with it wholeheartedly. I believe that none of this is necessary. It's another way to cut off our communication to one another, because as long as we're communicating, we're strong. And the moment we get cut off, then we're disbanding. So yeah, if they can shut down the grid, then we can't talk. Isn't that perfect? And then they'll convince us to do that, and then they'll further, control our situation, and then have these false promises of some kind of replicator food sources, which I don't agree with. I want to see something more tangible. and I know that people have said that about my content as well, and that's fine. But, I will never consent. And I hope that all of you will be with me on this one. You do not agree or consent to anything else that's going to further make our lives difficult. If they want to self-sacrifice, good for them. But I think we've had enough, and it's time for us to be strong on that statement. Is that if any being wants to help us, any group wants to help us, if they can't do it in a way that is benevolent to humanity who has already suffered, then they don't have a solution for us. So they need to find a real, authentic solution before that they start asking people to compromise and put them in a dangerous state. Regarding, things, something hitting us or something happening, they have the means and the technology to divert anything that's heading toward our planet. So I don't buy that story either. All I'm telling everyone to do is to be strong and, consciously consent only to that which is the highest potential for humanity. And that's what, Andronicus said to us from the start. We don't have to agree to anything less than that. But regarding, the RV, as long as we continue to move forward and continue to start taking action on our own, then things can happen.
We're joined by Captain Admiral Mr. William Stillings.
Oh, wonderful.
Good afternoon.
Hi, thank you for joining us.
It's a nice warm day.
Lucky you.
Warm out.
So we
Lucky
go.
you out with California or somewhere out there.
Yeah, California.
So we were talking about, William, we were talking about the Nasara and the RV and things changing. I know that you're sort of a futurist. Do you have anything that we can help avert, or any insight that you have for us?
What is it?
I know that you're sort of a futurist and you have insights. So is there anything that you can share with us regarding things that we can possibly be looking for or overt?
Honestly, no, pretty much, I've said pretty much all which could be done. It was up to a certain point. The next step is basically what the rants were last night, were drag what's residing in the White House out and go from there. I mean, it's really, in the moment, in the day, people, are basically, we're pulling out of a deprivation. A lot of treason has been committed in the United States, against the United States. And, right now, it's what the party which has been elected, basically is they're going to job to implement something which has been pre-established and establish it on top of, the deprivation or the, deficiencies which have been incurred, to the United States.
They're trying to impose that on us, right? The deficiencies. They're trying to impose that on us.
Well,
we have to consent to it.
Yeah, I mean, people are screaming, "Oh, abomination will fix it." Well, did he fix it? Well, if he fixed it, then there's nothing to work on. And, let's, someone contact Trump and tell him to get rid of the forced vaccines in California. Get rid of it.
That's a good start.
Yeah, good start. California, trying to stick needles in kids' arms and stuff. I mean, Come on. I mean,
we've had enough autism and horrible things happening to our children.
Yeah, I mean, if they're so well established on just having everything so much covered and stuff, and got so much time on their hands, they got to be going sticking needles in kids' arms, then they don't need any more funding. or taxes or anything. And, my stance on it, I think it's important for people to understand my disposition and my feelings. California, all I keep reading is how in debt they are, but they want to go stick needles in kids' arms. I see just on a fundamental basis of just raw thinking, something's wrong. Something's not right. Governor Brown, for as good as he is, I mean, some things he's done phenomenal in, but for him to do the forced vaccine thing, something's wrong with him. Something's not quite right there. Sticking 90 million black plastic balls into the reservoir and then to be quoted as saying it's not about evaporation. Something's wrong.
Yeah, tell us about that. Tell us what was that all about? They put black balls out there in the ocean off of the coast of California. Is that what you're talking about?
No. The state of California had purchased $90 million a year and a half ago worth of black plastic balls, stuck 30 million of those black plastic balls into the California's reservoir, Los Angeles reservoir.
Okay, that's where it was.
And was asked, what are the black plastic balls for? His reply was, well, it's not about evaporation. It's not about, water evaporating or preserving what little water, Los Angeles or California had in its reservoirs for drinking. I've recommended, countless times. I've gone off topic and thrown myself out there very much, just like doing now, to talk about such a negative topic, for somebody to go out and go procure one of those black plastic balls and have it analyzed. I'm sure they'll find all sorts of elements or hormones or something chemically, converting the body to a hormone. China's really good with petroleum distillates and falsifying, proteins and, and milk and dog food. Wet food and just all sorts of things, and start questioning. I don't have $90 million to go throw around, and and nobody took up even batted an eyelash at the fact that something's wrong with the state. Something's wrong with it. It's, I thought East Coast had its problems. Jeez.
Yeah, we do. We have our problems.
Yeah.
I lived near, the Charles River, which was notorious for pollution. And they even had that song, I love that dirty water.
Yeah.
I think that was a river. The kids, you couldn't go near it. I mean, if you fell in it, you had to get a tetanus shot. It was horrible. And also not to mention that, like rodents and other creatures were just, abnormally large. And, they had, I don't know what they're putting into stuff, I mean, it's been going on for years and supposedly they cleaned it out, but I doubt, to my knowledge, nobody goes in that water.
Yeah, movies were made about it. A movie called Prophecy was made in 1977-78, and it was about the mercury dumping, or at least in the movie, it was, signified, mercury. But it was other things, and basically it was the deformation of a, character, part person, part whatever. And, recombinantly changed all sorts of things and was on the loose or whatever, and basically a B rated movie, but it was very much about the East Coast and stuff, and old paper mills and stuff.
Yeah, well, it had to be a lot of stuff in order to get the water that toxic.
Yeah.
And it
And
just,
water flows. It's not really stagnant. So,
no,
when you look at it logistically, it's got to be a lot of dumping.
yeah,
There's got to be a lot of crap put in the water. And, I'm in a county where they don't use fluoride. They don't use chlorine. And they do it very successfully. It's pretty healthy water. It's healthy. And, they basically, use organics or whatever to break down the water, and they have a process for it. I don't quite know what it is. I couldn't really say what it is, but it works, and the water's always been good, and they don't use fluorine, they don't use chlorine, and,
the way it should be.
the water's, not harsh.
Yeah,
JP.
JP. Oh, I was just going to say, I both said JP.
He's in the refrigerator.
We're close to the end of the show. I don't know if he's going to let us go a little over.
We're
I
so
wanted to tell
close.
the story.
We're so
Yeah,
close.
Were you near the refrigerator? Be honest.
No, I'm sitting here. I'm ready. Cause it's the end of the show, and
it's the end of the show. I was going to bring up a story, but if, maybe we don't have time.
What is it? What is it? Come on.
Go on.
Well, I want to talk to everyone quickly about what happened with the nuclear power plant in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and how William and I had a discussion, how we talked about it. Is that okay? We're going over.
Yeah. Yeah,
Go on.
Okay,
yeah,
so
some
what happened
corporation.
was you had shared the information with JP, and I I was shocked because it's really maybe about an hour away from where I live right now. And the thought of, this is something that you had insight about. And I remember I had a boyfriend at the time that I was dating. He was actually working with a bunch of engineers. And I was up in the middle of the night. I couldn't sleep. I was like, all these people are going to be affected if this doesn't get resolved. And who do I talk to? And so we had a discussion, and he knew exactly who to talk to. The next morning he went to work and he saw this guy who was a fellow engineer, and he happened to know people over at the power plant. He actually would go there on occasion. He lived in the town of Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Uh-huh.
And he went and checked things out. So everything happened within a day, that they went and made some changes. And it was predicted that it was supposed to happen, was it last year?
Yeah, around Christmas time.
So something that the universe stopped. And that's why William, and anytime you ever want to be on my show, you're welcome to be on my show. I think that you're extremely helpful, and maybe we wouldn't be talking had it not been for your information. And I don't want to be overly dramatic, but I'm being honest. I was very relieved to know that
Thank you.
could have been a problem. And like I said, anytime you have anything to share, please do so. There are people that are living in different areas, and this is what we can do. If we're on the radio, we're communicating with others and we're sharing. We have the opportunity to share and give people a heads up on what's going on. Not to scare them, but maybe they can take action on it.
And yeah, exactly. And not to scare them. And I think it's important for Donald Trump to stay indoors January 15th. Around the time.
Yeah. All the different sources are saying that 2017, the real difference, because of the energy that just finished coming through, it's the intercommunication between people, especially like William, who's talking about these issues, because it's totally different now that we're crystalline as opposed to carbon, because that's what we originally were, was crystalline. And it didn't work with Lemuria and Atlantis, but this time it will. And they couldn't do it before now because our awareness of wanting something different had to be like more than a third of the people, which we have now. And we have this support from Inner Earth and all these other factions. But we are the ones that are creating what we want to manifest. So it's a person like William multiplied by a million other people. That one person gets it going and more people join in, and the consensus creates what it needs for our world to change.
Oh, nice.
Someone was asking why. That's very good. Thank you. Why the 15th of January? Is it just something that you foresaw, or?
Yeah, it's basically a little bit more than a feeling and stuff, and it's just a couple days prior. There's just a kind of a slightly comical event where the shooter doesn't get into the I guess Trump Towers. Trump is supposedly in New York and just outside of Trump Towers, whether he's like giving a speech to like upcoming investors or whatever, but they're basically in front of Trump Towers, a couple 100 feet from the entrances and stuff, and there's it's like a crowd watching or whatever. It's like not a formal event. It's not a formal speaking event on his part. He's just, he's there and he has his detail and everything around. And basically the guy down from the steps or something, there's like steps there or whatever, but he's down lower, and basically the shooter shoots in the wrong direction. There's like a lot of people, more around him and stuff, and he's already being talked to, and then he does whatever he tries to do.
You're from the super space program, so this is where the perspective that you're coming from, and you knew about Fukushima or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you warned them.
Yeah. JP, did you read the article before 2011?
I'm not sure I knew you then, because it was kind of around there. It was around there. I was just getting into this thing.
Yeah, Bashaga was telling me not to obsess on it in 2010, and I was all about calling him at 3 a.m. No, really.
Listen, we do have to go now, though.
Yeah, okay, so we need to get going, and thank you for letting us stay on a little longer. Thank you, JP. Thank you, William. Welcome back anytime. I'm on every Thursday. Please come stop by and say hello. Thank you so much, Viking, for joining us, and Conrad, and for all our friends in the chat room. We love you. Be in peace, and we'll see you next week. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So much.
We came from the future.